Hello everyone, my name is Prateek Dhingra. Sorry for the initial hiccup. And today I'm going to cover a topic which is selling in tough times. There are few points I want to cover before we start. The first point is why I've selected this topic. Um, like, um, so there are two reasons why I've selected this. Um, One is at a micro level, when I'm talking to some of my friends, when I'm talking to some of the people in my network, uh, I'm getting some signals that this year people are missing their sales quota. Even from a macro standpoint, we see that Q3 has been very volatile. Um, uh, in the developed world, people are projecting a recession, and we are also seeing that the tech sector is not going well. So that is, I think, at the micro and the macro level. And the second reason is that at a personal front, uh, I feel that like people mostly talk about their success stories, but it's also very important to talk about the difficult situations and the difficult times. So that is the reason I have selected this topic. Coming to the approach that I'm going to take, it was very difficult because there are different types of selling. You can categorize them as B2B, B2C. Then you have sector specific selling. Then you have different types, like it can be, um, for example, um, uh, SME selling, it can be channel partnership, it can be key account kind of a selling where you sell to very specific customers. So these were the challenges. Hence, I thought that I'll share some generic frameworks because uh, the experience which I have, or the challenges which I have faced might not fit for for different sectors or for different ways in which the sales team are structured. Now I'll start with a quick introduction about myself, just to give an audience an overview of what I've been doing. Um, so I have a total experience of 12 years, and out of these 12 years, I've been doing hardcore B2B selling from the last 8 years. And I have spent last 10 years in my existing organization, which is Mettl. And before that, I was associated with the startups. I feel lucky to have experienced uh, a journey like 0 to 1 journey with my previous startups and even with Mettl when I joined. I have experienced the 1 to 100 journey when Mettl was growing. And in 2018, Mettl got acquired by Mercer. So I've also, like in my current role, I'm also working for a very large organization, and I'm also trying to learn how a large organization works, how are the processes being set up there. So that's one part, and um, yeah, the second point. Sorry, there was some background noise. So yeah, the second point I want to start talk about is what kind of work I've done so far. Um, I started as an individual contributor, um, and I was looking after the India market in my initial years, and I was also experimenting in the international markets uh, because uh, we were like Mettl was focusing on India, but we were also seeing some good sentiments coming internationally. And then after a few years, I moved on to the international, uh, completely into the international uh, sales department. And Currently, I manage a team of 30 people. There are 30 people in my team, and they work in a 24 into 5 kind of a setup, because we cater to different regions. For example, APAC region starts very early in the morning, then we have Middle East, Europe, and then there is a team that caters to the US and the Latin markets. And the team that I runs is actually called as a digital sales team. So I also want to touch upon the digital sales standpoint. Uh, and I will be covering three important pointers because it's a different topic. So I just want to give a very high level view to some three pointers, uh, which are very specific to my set of business, which is digital selling. The first thing is target setting. Uh, Target setting is very important. Like in a hardcore sales role, you have to always run behind a target. Uh, Typically, targets are set on an annual basis. They're broken down into quarterly targets. In some organization, they can be broken down into monthly targets as well. There is a top to bottom approach of setting up the targets, which is based on your previous growth, or the previous numbers. You take a growth 20%, 30%. Typically, a 20% growth is what every SaaS player, uh, a setup SaaS player will expect. And um, and this number flows from top of the management to the sales manager or to the sales leader. And then the job of a sales leader is to work very closely with their managers, with their individual contributors. We call them as account managers. And then we go for a bottom up analysis, which is analyzing which are the accounts which will come, what is the momentum that is there, working closely with the digital marketing team also, because a lot of leads come through the digital channels. So target setting is a very important part. Why I have touched this, because it's also one of the reason that uh, things can get tougher for you if you have not focused on the target setting exercise. The second space I want to talk about is the B2B SaaS space, um, and why digital selling uh, is possible here. Um, in the B2B SaaS space, typically you are selling a software which is solving a problem. It can be an HR tech software, which I sell. It can be a marketing software. It can be a software that can be a revenue additive software. So there are different frameworks in SaaS, horizontal, vertical frameworks. A cyber security software is more like a vertical framework, and a software which can be used by multiple organizations, like a job board or an assessment software. Those fall under the vertical SaaS space softwares. Digital selling is easy because the end product that you are delivering is a software. So you don't need to travel to the client location, set up, let's say, a hardware or a commodity uh, good, and you just have to give them a login ID, and they can log in and they can access the feature. And based on their requirement, they can be a SME customer, they can be an enterprise customer, they can be a professional customer. So things are easy because everything is online, and that's why there are digital sales team. Um, Today I will be, since I'll be talking about framework, so it's very important. Now I want to touch a little bit on frameworks, because frameworks actually help us structure our thoughts. So this is what I have been using since last 8 years, and I'm going to talk about uh, a typical sales pipeline stages framework. This is a 6-step process which I was using earlier when I was an individual contributor, and now I use as as a team manager to understand the health of the business. Top of the funnel, bottom of the funnel, how many deals have closed, how many um, how many deals, how many inquiries have come, which is the first step, prospecting. People are just aware, they want to know more about your company because they have read some blog, um, they have got to know from an existing user, and that is the first step when somebody uh, touch base with you. That is the first uh, process. Then, as a next step, you qualify their need, whether they have an immediate need to buy the product, they have a midterm requirement, they have a long term requirement, or they have just come for understanding your product. So, depending on that, you can put the customers in different stages. If there is a short term or a midterm requirement, then you can share a proposal. You can give them a free pilot. In SaaS world, giving a free pilot is very easy. You just have to create an account, and you just have to give them few days of time. Um, a lot of self-serve platform, a lot of self-serve SaaS products, they are actually like easy to use, and then go for a paid model. If it is a mid-size or a large deal, then you will negotiate with the client. There will be contractual negotiation. There will be different set of features that they will be looking at. And then comes agreement signing and closing the deal, which is the paperwork part. And the last part is retention, which is also very important because these clients will repetitively pay every quarter and every year. And if your base pipeline is healthy, then whatever addition business that you are getting will be adding to your growth numbers. So typically we call this term as churn. If your churn is more than, let's say, 30-40%, then it's a alarming sign because you are losing your 30-40% customers that you have onboarded. The purpose of sharing this sales pipeline framework was to just give you an overview what a typical frameworks look like and how it is going to help you structure your sales flow and even identify where the problem is coming. I'll move to the next slide. Okay, so now coming to the topic, tough times. Winters are coming, and why tough time? Because changes are exponential, and as humans, like we tend to move in a linear way. So tough time will come. They have come in the past also. But the first step is to the first step or the first framework that I want to share is the trigger why there is a tough time. And uh, I have tried to structure it into different, like uh, what can be a tough time for a startup co-founder. If you're starting, if you're an entrepreneur, you are just starting your business, which is 0 to 1 journey, then a tough time can be finding the product market fitment, finding your first few paying customers. And even if you have found some of the paying customers, scaling the business, which is reaching to 100 customers, 1000 customers, uh, this can be some of the triggers. And when you are starting something new, it is by default it is considered as the toughest time because you have to survive and you have to show results, and there's a lot of pressure that is there if you are an entrepreneur or if you are starting um, or associating with a startup that is in a 0 to 1 journey. And this is a time when everyone is selling, uh, from technical folks to the founders to the first or the second sales hire. So in a 0 to 1 journey, it is assumed that it is going to be the tough time for you. Now coming to the hierarchy process that you will find in any organization which is 100 people and plus. So you will find a structure where you will have individual contributors, people who are talking to the customers. We call them as AE, and there is another layer now, which is sales development representative, who are actually building the top of the funnel, the sales funnel. And the trigger for them can be that they're not meeting their targets. Targets can be revenue targets. Targets can be setting up number of meetings. So it's a trigger for them that it's a tough time, and if they're missing it continuously, then they need to do something about it. So this is a very easy trigger to identify as an individual contributor, that I'm missing my targets or my quarter numbers are not on track. That means there is something wrong. It's a tough time for me. As managers, tough time can be, um, especially when you have just started managing a team, hiring right people, training them quickly, getting net new logos, uh, because the manager is responsible for mentoring the team and helping them with the net new conversations. And um, and managers are more focused on short term and midterm numbers. So ensuring that your quarterly numbers are met, your 6 months, half yearly numbers are met. So if there is any red flag, you're not able to hire the right set of people, the people you have hired, you are not able to train them, um, you are not getting adequate leads to improve your net new acquisition, and your numbers are not on track. There can be any reason or a combination of one or two. That means it's a tough time for a sales manager. Lastly, sales leader, uh, or the CXOs of the company. I think tough time for them because they can quickly fix processes internally, um, or like processes are something which they have built, so they know how to navigate. So for them, tough time can be mostly external factors, which is market, industry, competition. If your competitors are have launched a new pricing strategy, if your competitors are able to connect better with the customers, that means uh, and these things will change because in a technology world, everything changes in a couple of months or in a couple of years. So for them, it's very important to understand how the overall market sentiments are there, what are the industrial changes that are coming, um, are new age technologies like AI, ML, blockchain, IoTs, how are they impacting their industry, and they need to watch the competition and have a like have a complete view of their internal processes. So I think the framework that I want to talk about here is the market, industry, company, and the team framework. Uh, because if we see overall, uh, if the market sentiments are not good, then it is going to have a much deeper impact on your sales performance or your company performance, which will drill down to a individual contributor also. Maybe not in the first 2 3 months, but after that it will. If you're not getting new leads, maybe this quarter you will achieve your numbers because of your pipe, but next quarter it will be difficult for you. The second trend that we have to see is what is happening in our industry. That is the second important trend. And even if your competitors are doing well, you can quickly change your strategy, you can quickly change your pricing model, and this will be a less tough battle for you. And at a company level, definitely, if there is a process problem, there are hiring related issues, there also you can, then it's a company specific issue. Your leaders, your CXOs, your managers can solve that problem. So in the first slide, I talked about the tough time, uh, like how that you need to define it. And in this slide, I'm going to talk about the gravitas, how to identify how bigger this tough time is, from based on the framework that I've shared with you. So you can analyze some trends. For example, market demand is the first, market, industry, and company I've already shared. The other thing is that you will get some pulse. For example, in a digital business, in a digital selling, search volumes is an important parameter. If the search volumes are low, that means people are not looking for the product. These are like pulse or awareness indications that helps you understand what exactly is the problem. If the search volume are less, that means it's a market or a industry specific problem. It's not a company specific problem. Like the market and the industry uh, is is on the right track, uh, but you need to do something at the company level, at the team level, at the processes level. Similarly, top of the funnel, um, how are the number of net new leads coming on your way? How many meetings you are able to set through the outbound process? That will again help you understand uh, the problems that are there, and this will further help you deep down into some numbers. Then we I think the feedback that you get from the clients, for example, uh, how are they looking at next year? Are they going to hire more or they're going to hire less? If they're going to hire less, that means for a job board or for an assessment company, there will be lesser number of it business. So you need to drill down to the feedback that you are receiving from your clients. And the last is your network. So understanding what your peers, internal network, external network, you need to build your network as well. That will further help you understand what exactly is the gravitas. How bigger is the problem? Um, is it just a short term problem? Is it going to stay for next year? It's a long term problem. So these all, uh, like this is specific to my B2B industry, but these all pulse will actually help you know कि problem kahan par hai. And trends is where you can define a framework which will further help you understand how bigger is the problem, how big problem it is, कितना time लगेगा इसको solve होने में, is it solvable at a company level, is it solvable by changing the strategy, or it is a market problem, there is a recession, there is a lockdown, and things are not in your control. Okay, now I'll be touching upon a very important topic, which is actions. um, and I will be covering a horizontal and a vertical framework which I have been using from the last 5 years. So typically, for anything that you do, um, there is a horizontal line of things that you can move on, and the second is going vertical. The simplest example is that after doing their engineering, a lot of people go for MTech, then very few of them will also go for their PhD. So that is a vertical framework. You are getting deeper into uh, your uh, your areas of expertise. Horizontal framework is that after engineering, some people will do MBA and they will explore uh, different industries like sales and marketing, finance. So that is more like going horizontally. So now let's say you know that it's a tough time. Um, I'll take an example of an individual contributor. He's not able to meet his number. He's trying to identify what could be the reason. Is it more of internal reason? Is it more of my own performance because of which I'm not able to perform? Is it more that other people are also not able to perform? It's more of a at a company level problem, at a sector level, or at a global level problem. Then he will understand the pulse, how long this problem is going to stay, what are the factors behind it, and then people will start taking some action based on that. And the framework is either you can take some horizontal steps, or you can deep dive and take some vertical steps in that direction. These are some horizontal steps which I have identified, and you can also uh, add some numbers to it, that what is the impact कि horizontal में कितने % impact आने वाला है. For example, if I launch a new product uh, in 2022, and I've already spent my first quarter, how much impact will will that will that initiative bring to my numbers? It can be 10%, it can be 30%. Knowing this impact number will further help you take that decision. Hiring people, if you are hiring somebody after the first half, then those people will mostly have an impact on the next year. So hiring people is not a part of your strategy for solving your this year problem, but it's a more of a long term uh, strategy. um, Giving some incentive plans. This can be a short-term impact. This can drive motivation. If you feel that driving people, pushing them a little bit with a positive motivation can help, then this can be a short-term plan and it can bring some results. So this is like one way of thinking, uh, how things will move horizontally, how much impact will I will get. And then there is vertical, which is uh, like getting deeper into um, a lot of things. For example, the first is understanding why the problem has occurred based on the market, the industry, uh, the trends that you are receiving. What is the reason, like, because this will actually help you understand if there is a shift in the market that is coming or not. Because in every 3 years, every 4 years, we have seen a shift that comes in the technology space. And if that shift is coming and you are able to predict with your deeper research, then you can like incline your horizontal steps also accordingly. The second thing that we do, like this is what I've learned from my CEO, is to create a compelling event. Because it's a tough time. You are already getting less number of leads. There are lesser new conversations happening. So you have your existing pipeline and you have your base accounts, and they are also finding it difficult to commit for some numbers, because it's not just a tough time for you, it is a difficult time for your customer also. That I think you should also be aware that मेरे लिए मुश्किल नहीं है, it's difficult for them, because uh, they are also uh, if it's more of a overall industry slowdown, they're also feeling the heat. So you need to uh, at this point you need to have a very strict monitoring of your pipeline by creating compelling event. For example, if I'm going to create an offer, if I'm going to create a discount plan, then uh, is it a by default uh, event that will help the people to purchase the product, or people will just say ठीक है आपने offer launch कर दिया कुछ, we'll see. So you need to create this compelling event. You need to create a little sense of urgency, and you need to also um, ensure that if you are giving a discount to the customer, there is a reason. Like, the reason is that they will close the deal early. So compelling events are one of the important um vertical deep dive thing that you can work on. that if I will give you discount, then you will sign the agreement early. If I'll increase the validity of your contract, um, this action will happen. It should not be that कि okay, मेरा target meet नहीं हो रहा, चलो मैं incentive plan निकाल देता हूँ. I'll take an approval from my management and I'll launch an incentive plan. It should be based on a trigger कि there is a discount to the customer, but वो discount आपको तभी मिलेगा जब आप agree करने के लिए that you will agree to it. So that is something which the customer will also appreciate, because if it is an offer, it is for everyone, then um, like we all see in the e-commerce, in the B2C industry, the compelling events are there for a time bound period. The sales are not for the complete year, otherwise nobody will give them weightage. The sales are for the Black Friday sales, a sale which is going to come, that is for a very specific time period, and that has a compelling event kind of a effect. uh, a lot of people loses their focus uh, in the tough time, especially the leaders, the managers, that they don't look for the long term or the bigger picture. uh, Overall they think for a short term thing कि चलो मैं discount देता हूँ and I'll get the business. But you should actually look for long term signals. If you are an individual contributor also, you should see the what is the life cycle value of a client, and whether giving him a discount, um, whether doing other activities for him will actually help in the long term picture of the company. Because people loses their focus, they start giving discounts, they start closing contracts, they start over promising to the customer कि चलो आप आ जाओ, and then in the end they struggle. So you need to also think of the long term picture and the bigger picture, because maybe it will be a short term uh, profit for you, a short term revenue for you, but in long term these things will get very difficult, and this will also spread a bad word about your company in the market. And the last point is learning from others. In the tough time, um, it's very important to start learning again. You need to focus more. You need on your reading, on networking with people, uh, because that will actually help you um, get new ideas. You will start thinking more. You will start brainstorming more, and that will further help you improve your horizontal and your vertical approaches. But I think one thing is there, as I end this slide, that you need to work in both direction, horizontally bhi, vertically bhi. Vertically is more like a deeper approach, thinking what is there in my hand, how can which are the deals which I can close now, what I need to do. Understanding the gravitas of the problem is also like getting into the deeper approach. Getting emotionally connect with the customer, because it's a difficult time for them also. Understanding why customers are not buying. Um, you should not disturb them, but try to have more communication channels with them, not losing your long term focus, and networking with people, learning from your managers, improving uh, yourself, um, and and like getting more inputs will actually help you. Yeah. So now I'll cover the battles you are fighting as a individual. So previously, just to give a summary, I have covered three parts. One is uh, identifying whether it's a tough time or not. Second is the pulse, the gravitas of the situation. The third is the framework, what steps you will take, strategic steps you will take, which is the horizontal and the vertical framework. But as an individual, whether you are an individual contributor, you are a manager, you are also fighting battles. These are internal battles. Uh, If you are not hitting your quota, you are losing your confidence level. You have given continuously 3 or 4 demos, but customers are not reverting to you. तो आपका कॉन्फिडेंस लेवल, मोटिवेशन लेवल थोड़ा सा हिल जाएगा, आपकी टीम का भी. Like they will also feel demotivated. So this is the internal battle that you have to fight in the tough time. And even you'll start putting more effort. You will start spending your weekends uh, working. फिर भी output नहीं आ रहा होगा, but uh, so this is the first battle that you're fighting, which is internal. And I've written the percentage 50%. So it's, for me it's 50%. अगर आपने internal battle fight कर ली तो आपने 50% कर लिया, because this is the toughest battle to fight. The second battle that you're fighting in the tough time are the external battles, which is um, you're trying to connect with more and more people, increasing your top of the funnel, um, getting your sales cycle are longer, so you're trying to make them shorter by creating compelling events. And then you are trying to connect with your existing customers to give them some offers, to give them to cross sell them, upsell them different products. uh, and in these battles you are pushing yourself very hard to get the attention of the customer. So this is the external battle. uh, you're already doing it in the good times also, but uh, in difficult situation you have to spend more of your energy, and they're going to be tough discussions sometimes. The third battle is managing your team, internal stakeholders. There can be multiple teams. Like if it's a mid-size organization, there will be SDRs, there will be digital marketers who are working along with you. So you have to ensure that because they are also fighting the first 2 points, so you have to work very closely with them. You have to uh, manage them. And for this, in the next slide, um, I will be just talking about again 2 or 3 framework. So uh, let's talk about the internal framework first, which is charging your battery. So whether it is confidence, motivation, your discipline of which is to call a customer 3 times, 4 times, drop them a mail, is getting shaky. क्योंकि मेल्स डालने से कुछ हो नहीं रहा, टफ टाइम्स में रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आ रहे, so you are losing your discipline, your process. You're losing your confidence because you're giving a lot of demos, but आगे pipe move नहीं हो रही, and you're also feeling somehow demotivated. So your battery in these 3 components are getting drained, and you need to charge them. The best way to charge them, which I have learned, um, is that our brain functions, our mind is functioning like a office. So there are different departments. There is your personal life, there is your professional life. If things are not going well in one department, you can start working on the other departments, because you can easily fool yourself. If there is a positive energy which is coming from your personal achievement, that will actually fool your mind that okay, there is a positive energy, everything is positive. So the battery in your professional department will automatically get charged. So this is the framework of charging your battery. For example, like um, 2 weeks back, I was feeling low on my confidence, and I started cleaning my car. Like it was already clean, but I spent like 2 hours, and I just cleaned it. And somebody in my neighborhood, my family members, they gave me a compliment that you maintain your car very well. You have cleaned it very well. So that instantly helped me in just it was a Sunday morning. Uh, I was not able to sleep a day before, and in the morning I did this activity, and for the entire Sunday I was feeling confident, and even the next week also. So these small achievements actually help you charge your battery, and it's very easy. It can be cooking for someone, it can be continuing a sports activity. So this is just an example, like you will have your own hobbies. Restarting a hobby, meeting a friend again, will actually help you charge your battery. So you can write it down whenever there is a problem. Even you can do it in an opposite way. If you have a problem in the personal life, you can charge your battery with your professional accomplishment. The second is adaptability. um, you need to be ready for changes, uh, because uh, the problem with a messy situation is that it gives you more clarity, and clarity will bring a lot of thoughts, that a lot of changes also. So you need to be open that I will be more adaptable. For example, like during COVID, like we have seen how people adapted to the online education, online learning. It was very difficult for them, if even for teachers also. But we saw that they were open um, to the adaptability. You need to be a little more risk taking, because tough times will automatically um, increase your risk. But um, and that's a time when you really need to take uh, um, decisions. So adaptability will help you, and you need to limit your exposures to the negative sentiments and negative news that you hear. So limit your exposure. A lot of layoff news are there. This will affect your sentiments. Even if you are working in a manufacturing industry, you're working in India, which is completely different geo, uh, but still you will have the negative sentiment. So limit your exposure. Garbage in will result in garbage out. So you need to limit that. So these are some internal battles which I have been fighting whenever there is a tough time, a tough quarter, a tough year, a tough kind of journey during the sales process. Internal battles can also be when you're working on a large deal, because you need to wait a lot. It can take 6 months, it can take 1 year, and at any point that deal can slip, where you have put a lot of you have put a lot of effort from your end. So so these are few like steps you can take internally. The second is more on the external side, the battles that you're fighting externally. There is a framework which I've already talked about, the horizontal vertical framework, which is more of a strategic framework. But what you will do as an individual um, to manage your clients, you need to be transparent. If it's a tough time, you should talk to your clients. If you are in touch with them, you have 4 or 5 calls with them, then there is a there is like they already know you. uh, they also know that how the sales process work. So it's not that they will not understand. Maybe they are also the ones who are facing the tough time. So you need to create transparency, you need to talk to them, and you need to uh, increase your communication. It's not that a client is not using your product, ठीक है मैं उसको कॉल नहीं करूंगा, कोई फायदा नहीं. You need to keep on talking to them. You need to follow your discipline of giving them a call every 15 days, every month, because that will help you. For example, in COVID times, like the markets were closed, a lot of offline businesses were affected. So ऐसा नहीं कि अभी तो मार्केट बंद है, मैं किसी को कॉल नहीं करूंगा. अभी तो यूजेज नहीं हो रहा, there is no point. You need to talk to them, because that will help you understand um, uh, the client account life cycle, and it will also help you understand what they are thinking, how they are perceiving the market. The second mistake which people do is they stop looking for new business. So they say it's a tough time, kuch nahi ho raha, abhi year end hai. Um, so a lot of markets, a lot of developed world markets will be closed. Unless and until you're not able to reach out to people, that's a different problem. Then you need to rework on your strategy of reaching out to people. But you should stay in motion. You should keep on calling people, even if you are, as an SDR, you are able to book less meetings. You should keep on calling that. The third part is team and stakeholder management. This is the responsibility of a leader or a manager to ensure that his team is motivated. So that's why I said internal battles are 50%, because if you yourself are not motivated, you'll not be able to motivate your team. You will not be able to give confidence to your stakeholder. Empathy is very important in this time. You need to connect with your people. You need to talk to them more. uh, so you need to understand that they are also trying to charge their internal battery. So it's very important to be transparent and transparent with them, and understand that they are also fighting uh, the same battle which you are fighting. Setting up their goals and path. So maybe if targets uh, are getting difficult, then to charge their battery, or to charge the battery of the team, you need to create in parallel paths for them. For example, getting a testimonial from the customer, getting a reference from the customer, launching some kind of a survey, um, or customer training programs. So uh, moving in other goal which can have a midterm or a long term impact, that will also help the team uh, to work together and come together. Communication again, uh, uh, during the tough time, for example, in this year there was a quarter when it was very tough. So to increase the communication, I started visiting office 5 days a week. I was calling my team members also. uh, like most of them were able to come. So you have to identify some channels by which you can increase the communication, um, and not just team communication. You need to talk to your stakeholders also, that things are not working for me. If we are connecting on a weekly call, we need to connect twice on our call to discuss this. You should not hide something that ho jayega agar if some compelling events happen. You need to be prompt in terms of your communication to your stakeholders, because what happens is when difficult time come, people stop communicating ki nahi chal raha, chalo rok dete hain. And the last thing is that you need to start celebrating your wins more. The one of the innovative thing which we do at Mettl is, when a customer, especially when there is a tough time, we start celebrating our wins more. तो customer PO भेजता है, हम celebrate करते हैं, congratulate करते हैं. Then uh, then we get the payment proof. Then we celebrate, and then when the actually when the money hits our bank, because it's an international payment, it takes 3-4 days. Then we celebrate again. So your wins are less, but we celebrate a win thrice, and that helps in again charging your motivation battery. Uh, the wins are less, but you're celebrating more by creating those events. So just a very corner thing, but it's very important. So that's it. I think uh, like because as I said earlier, um I wanted to talk about uh, the difficult times, and I wanted to give frameworks so that irrespective of the industry, the current scenario, whenever you face a tough time, if you can try and create a framework, you can create a framework of your own as well. Uh, and if you start following it, then things will get much more easy for you. You can easily um, put your time in that framework. You can explain these frameworks to your team members also, and this will actually help you structure your thought process. This is my favorite quote since last um 3-4 months, and uh, whenever I read it, I've just put a printout of this quote on my table. Um, um, I recall two of my team members who are very young, but like we also learn from our team members who are reporting to us, from our peers also. So I think resilience is uh, is the key. Resilience is a very important competency overall, and during tough time, it is one of the most primary competency that you have to keep in mind, that you need to never ever give up. And as I said, that there are two of my team members, so whenever I'm on a brink of giving up, I recall of them, what would they would have done, and that gives me more motivation and more energy to continue that thing. And you create a magic in the end. These are some books and blogs that I will recommend during the hard time. Atomic Habits, I'm reading from the last 3 months. I always thought that ये तो ऐसे ही जनरल सी बुक होगी, हैबिट्स के ऊपर बहुत सारी बुक्स हैं, but this is one of my favorite book. Sales acceleration formula is very relevant for those who are working in the digital sales or the B2B ecosystem. The hard thing about hard things is more recommended for the founders and for the leaders, but it talks about a lot about how you should respond as a leader in the hard times. And these are some general blogs, like SaaS by Tomas is like everyone follows his blogs in the SaaS, so it's more industry specific. And how to be successful is this is what I recently got and have shared with a lot of people. It gives you a very well focused kind of a path in life, and it's very helpful in the tough time. Thank you very much, and sorry for the initial network glitch that happened.
Thanks so much, Prateek. So, guys, anybody has any questions for Prateek? I'm sure you guys would be wanting to know or share some situations or experiences or something that you would want to ask Prateek. Anybody, any questions you have, please feel free to ask. No questions? Yeah, Uday, you're on mute. In case you want to ask a question, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah, am I audible now?
Yeah, you are loud and clear.
Yeah, I have a question for Prateek, sir. I was 2 years before, I was working with the elevator company, Schindler. There, the salespersons, because AMC sales, they were facing very difficulties to renew the AMC contracts, because that times building have been closed, so there is no commercial buildings companies are running. So whenever they approach the customer for renewal of the AMC, they told them that we are not running a business, so we are not getting rents from the clients. So it is very impossible for us to renew immediately the contracts. So as a salesperson, how do we approach to sell that time?
Okay, so a very relevant question, Uday, and this is true across different industries, that there will be times when you will face the problem in renewing the contract. The first thing that you have to see is whether this renewal is in controlled format, or is it a controlled event or an uncontrolled event? For example, a controlled event can be that there are two vendors which a client is evaluating, and pricing, product fitment, service guarantee, service uptime will actually help you in structuring that. So it's a controlling event. You yourself, your managers, your product team can work. If it is, let's say, an uncontrolled event, a company is not renewing the contract because they don't have the money to renew it. Like, this can be a situation that I don't have money to, I don't have got, I have not got the budgets to renew it. Then it's not possible to get the money, because so you need to talk to the customer. You need to understand what is the reason for not renewing. Is it that he's not having the budgets with him? If he's not having the budgets, he will not purchase any service, even if it is the best service in the world. It is the most discounted product he's ever going to get. If he's having the money, he's having budget constraints, maybe you can create some compelling event that this year, okay, I'll give you a discount, but next year there will be a price increase that will happen. And if you have to get a discount this year, you need to close the agreement in next 15 days or next 30 days. So this is compelling event framework that you can use. And other thing is that if you can go and meet the customer, you can talk to other people in the organization, then also you can get some indication on what exactly is happening. That will further help you structure your deal or structure your next level conversation with them. So talking to multiple people in the organization is also important. You should not break the protocol that you reach out to someone without their manager, without informing them, but try to find innovative ways in which you can reach out to more and more people. So these are the three, I think, things which you can do initially, and then depending on the signal you get, you can take the next steps.
Yes, sir. On that, I have a doubt aroused it. Because the second point you told me that if there is no budget, if there is a budget concern with the customer or client, so it is really difficult for them to renew. Even though if they told me that we are running a building, means the building is closed completely, so there is no clients with us to operate the building. So at the time, it is very difficult for them to renew the contract immediately. Even we give some offers or we create some compelling actions. That time, obviously, if there is one or two clients, company will bear for that. They will give some patience for that person, salesperson. If it is more than 10 customers or 20 customers, so there can be more pressure on that person. So how do we handle the pressure?
Okay. So yes, like there is a lot of pressure when your clients are not renewing. But as you mentioned that, because I don't completely understand your business, but what I can understand is that since the building was closed, the building was not operating, and that was the reason why they have not agreed for a service renewal. Maybe for next year, I know that nobody is going to come, so why should I
Yes,
tune the escalators on?
right.
Then things are not in your control on that project. I think first step is to know and acknowledge it, that your customer is facing a tough time. They are not able to continue because it's a business loss for them.
Yes,
Shutting down an operations for 1 year is a completely a business loss for them. So then you need to identify ways of cross-selling or upselling something. For example, like you have to start thinking, I'm thinking from your business standpoint. For example, if all the excavators, elevators are down for 1 year, that can have a serious impact on their machinery. Like there can be serious breakdown issues. So you can come up
right.
with a lighter plan, which will ensure that projects remain with you, with your company, at a lower value, but still it remains with you. That I'll come up with a 6 months inspection program, because you're not using the product, you're not using your laptop, you're not using the elevator. um, there is a possibility that there can be a serious breakdown. So I'll offer you services not every month, but once in 6 months, to ensure that somebody is coming, checking, uh, doing all the maintenances, so that after 1 year you don't have a serious breakdown problem. You need to get to that consultative selling part of it, because if I'm investing, let's say, 20 lakh rupees on an elevator, 20 lakh, 30 lakh, I'm just taking a number, and if there is a serious breakdown, there is some kind of a breakdown in the electrical system, etc., then that is going to cost me 5 or 6 lakhs. So I will be open to spend 50,000 rupees on maintenance. So that can be one strategy, which is you're not able to sell the same thing, but you are able to maintain the relationship with the customer. The second can be trying to identify cross-selling, other cross-selling verticals in which you can sell services. Maybe there are other projects. You can ask the client that you can introduce me to other people, uh, uh, or what are the other projects which they are trying to get. You need to try to get deeper into their organization to understand the true account value. This anyways you have to do, but since they are not renewing, so you can take that advantage for that. But keeping the customer relationship is very important. Even if a 50,000 rupee maintenance contract, uh, or a 3 lakh rupees maintenance contract is going to decrease by 90%, it is going to come down to 30,000 or 20,000 rupees, then also it's important to ensure that the business is on. Because if you are working with a client in their tough situation, then uh, when the situation improves, they will remember that, okay, we had a tough time, somebody came, somebody did a lot of negotiation internally. You're also a voice of the customer, so it's not that you are just voicing for your company. You need to also voice for the customer and think from a neutral standpoint, that that what exactly is the problem. You have to put yourself in the shoe of the customer and see what is the problem. And if it is a genuine problem, then you have to uh, raise your voice in the opposite direction. You have to reach out to your management, your managers, that this customer is really in the tough time and I want to help him out.
Right, right. Actually, we have to create the situation that win-win for both of customer
Yes,
and the company. Yes.
yes, exactly.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for the insights. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, hi, Prateek. Cafe side. So I'm also into digital sales. So I am really facing this problem that whenever I'm trying to, communicate with any customers, any clients. So how do I, keep my relationship keep on going? Because these people, either I talk on, we talk on emails or WhatsApp chats and all these things. So how do I keep, because I have never met this person individually and face to face or anything like that. It's just a chat and all these things. So in digital sales, how do we, keep the relationship going?
Okay. So uh, like it's one of the toughest thing, I would say, I have experienced. And it's not easy, first of all, but still I'll share some experiences of mine, and how you can implement. So typically, just from a bird's eye view standpoint, you have three channels in digital sales to talk to your customer. One is you can connect with them on phone call, on WhatsApp, on a Zoom meeting. So that is more like a verbal communication channel. The second is emails, and third can be social media, like LinkedIn, for example. You can reach out to them on LinkedIn. So these are the three channels which you have. In international selling, like, it's very difficult for us to meet customers on and off. So a lot of customers will.
They are very professional, so they don't use social media much.
Yes, yes. In a developed world, you will find that people are not comfortable connecting on WhatsApp, etc. Uh, so so one is patience is the key. Like you have to be very patient, uh, because it will take some time. If you meet someone, you can have a ice breaking session with him in 5 minutes, and you can build the trust in the first or the second meeting with the customer. In digital selling, it will take time. uh, the the most important part is that you have to build trust with the customer, because trust is a very difficult thing, uh, and it will take time also, which I've covered earlier. And for building trust, you need to follow discipline. So you have to respond their emails on time. You have to ensure that because in international regions, you will find people are working in different time zones, so you will start receiving emails on later in the evening. So I think being very prompt, uh, giving them a clarity, um, I think that will help you bring build trust with them. And once you have built trust with them, then I think they will be very open to connect with you on a WhatsApp, to share their problems with you. So starts thinking, I don't know which product you are selling, but building trust is the first key when you are talking to the customer digitally.
Well, thank you for the insights. And I have another question. As you mentioned, the product which I'm working on, right? So the product is basically value-added feature. So I am selling a game to a app publisher so that they can, monetize their application with these sort of value-added things. That if a person is building a photo editing app, right? So his main focus is about the tools and all this thing in this app. So now what we are doing is we are offering them a game which is very easy to integrate. Now what will happen next time when a users comes to their platform, they can offer that, okay, you have come to edit a picture, now you can play game as well. So the moment they will play game, they will make revenue out of it. Right. So this is the product. But the thing is here, you cannot, if a app has, 10 million of downloads, even then you cannot predict how much revenue you can make. So the entire system is struggling on that. So we keep on changing strategies that which will work, which will not, which kind of tool category will work, or reward category, finance category, OTT, and all these things. So how do I keep myself motivated in the in the prospect of incentive thing? Because because of all these strategies and all, we cannot predict. First thing, we cannot predict how much 10 million installs application can make revenue out of it. So the incentives are very critical.
I agree. Actually, um, Cav, when you are selling a new product, or if you are a part of a startup that is trying to figure out their growth journey, so like there will be some noise that will be there, uh, and it's not in your company, it's in any other every company that is looking for growth, because there is no formula. If it would have been easy, then everyone would have done it. A lot of people would have started replicated similar products and become successful. So there is no I would say uh, a path to solve this problem. It's not a sales problem, it's a company specific problem. um, I think being little more flexible uh, on on the sales and incentive part at this stage is what I'll recommend. So typically sales function as a output, uh, as an output driven model. Like nobody values your input, it's an output, and it's very easy to track कि आपका कितना टारगेट था, आपने कितना अचीव कर लिया. अगर आपने अचीव कर लिया, that means you are eligible for your for your incentive plans, etc. So output is, because from a management standpoint, it's easy to measure. They cannot, and typically if you see offline selling, people are like are not coming to office. So input monitoring has never been a parameter in the selling process. So सब लोग output ही देखते हैं. That is the there are good positive things also, there are negative things also. But if uh, it's a new entrant product, it's a new market that you're trying to explore, then you should also try to create some other goals along with your managers for you, that maybe if, like for example, 10 million downloads is one goal for you. Reaching out to these many customers, opening up some new country should also be incentivized. So I think you should talk about some of the input parameters also, because not every effort is going to give you uh, the right output to your company. So I think appreciating the experiments, uh, appreciating the input is also a very important parameter when you are on the 0 to 1 journey in your existing organization. So that is what I feel. And from a customer standpoint, like, it will take some time for your company and for you to uh, get a deeper understanding of the market.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Any other questions? I think a lot of interesting questions have come. So um,
I have
So
a
can I ask one
question.
more question?
okay. Yes, please.
Sir, actually, I have a doubt. How we do the industry analysis or trend analysis or market analysis for
Okay.
generic?
I think market research. So there is primary research, there is secondary research. Secondary research you can do through internet. You can read more about the industry. You can try to get some publications that have been there. Primary research is talking to people. Um, you can talk to people in those industry. LinkedIn is a very convenient tool. You can reach out to people on LinkedIn. You can talk to them. There are similar platforms. Recently, I've came across coffeemug.ai, where you can find people and you can book meetings with them. So I think primary research will mostly come through your network or by building a network of individuals. These are the two like different ways of getting deeper into the industry, or even getting a deeper understanding of the industry in which your customers are operating.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Guys, anybody has any
Please
other
have
question? Yeah, Mark, you want to ask something? Mark, you're not audible. There's some network issue. In case if you're facing a network issue, you can probably put it on the chat box.
Just give me 2 minutes, sir. I'll ask the question. If
You are
anybody
audible.
else has any questions in the meantime, they can ask.
You are audible,
But
Mark. You can
you're audible right now, so you can go ahead.
Okay, so when you have one state change when it visiting with the accounts, people, new faces every time. How do you ensure that you have a valuable relationship with your company's existing customers so that they don't have a bad experience with too many faces?
Yeah, I think this is a problem which a lot of companies face. Sorry, Mark, there was some noise, so but I think I've got the gist of the question that you want to ask. I think processes are the only way with which you can solve the problem, because you cannot prevent attrition in the company. Like, any company cannot prevent attrition, and there can be different cycles of attrition. um, Attrition can be on a higher side, attrition can be on a lower side, but people will change. So I think creating a process, having multiple touch points with the customer. For example, like, most of the mid-sized companies are now going with CSMs, client success managers. So after, uh, like, the deal is closed, the expectation document, SOW, scope of work, is signed. As a next step, like, there is a CSM that is managing that deal. So that's the second touch point that comes. As a sales manager, it's very important to go in some of the conversations. It's not about micromanaging people. It's about giving more confidence to the customer, ensuring that things are documented, especially the scope of the work that you are going to deliver to the customer, so that if somebody has left the organization, there are no confusion. The invoices are clear. If there is a validity, it should be mentioned. If there is an extended validity, that should also be mentioned in the invoice. It makes things a little slow. The customer will say, why are you asking me so many questions? But this, you have to explain to the customer that this is for their own betterment and managing their own process during during their journey as an account in the company.
I have a lot of accounts, sir, when it comes to key accounts that come back to me saying too many faces reach out to me. It becomes a little cumbersome for them. So, is there a better way to approach this? Your suggestion, sir?
Okay. So I think, Mark, you need to get deeper into um, the problem, because see, as individuals, like, we don't want to talk to too many people. Somebody will call me, I'll explain him my phone is not working. Then to other person, I'll explain him that uh, the same problem. So as individuals, we are not um, like, we hate it's a personal experience which all of us have. Now you need to identify how you can leverage technology in this. For example, uh, there is a way in which you can record the call. You can ensure that you have a CRM in place. That is, there are a lot of smart AI driven CRMs in the market that are available now. You can do some research on that. So conventional CRM like Zoho, um, Salesforce,
Yes,
etc.,
sir.
that is one category. But now there are
We have HubSpot in place, but it seems uphill HubSpot implement, and nobody ready to adopt it because it becomes very tedious. Now with sales, data entry is a part-time job of sorts. When it comes to CRM, so that is something that uh, I would personally like to fix at the company. Any idea how can I get on board with that,
okay.
or how can I select?
Okay. So so Mark, first thing is that a sales CRM is very important. uh, Companies are spending lakhs of rupees on Salesforce. Like, these are billion-dollar companies. We just saw that how Zoho has become a billion-dollar story now. So a sales CRM, um, it took a lot of time for me also, because I was working in startups where you can break rules easily, especially from an operational standpoint. So I was also not recording my deals, my discussions in the sales CRM. But uh, maybe in a short term it seems as a problem, but as a midterm, as a long term strategy, a sales CRM is a must. So I think you need to build that habit in your team members that they should record it on the sales CRM. You might need some expertise to automate that process. You can talk to a lot of people who are implementing the sales CRM, who are an expert in terms of reducing the workload. There are automated ways of uploading using Excel sheet, etc. Integration with the website is also possible. There are a lot of calling apps which have APIs which can record the conversation in your CRM. So these are like some ways in which you can decrease the effort. Mobile apps, for example, effective mobile apps can also help. But uh, like the discipline to use a sales CRM needs to be built early in the organization, which will help you in a very long term. And I think this is one of the reason why your customers are getting repetitive calls, and internally also this creates friction in the team that it is my account, ये मेरा account है, ये मैंने पहले reach out करा था. So following the sales discipline, as in when your organization, your team is expanding, is required. And people hate it. We have to spend 1 hour 2 hour a day sometime to record our conversation, but that is where the processes comes in the picture.
Absolutely, sir. That is our biggest hurdle right now. So yeah, I'll take your point of view under advisement, and I'll see what we can do to implement that.
And Mark, second
Thank you,
thing
sir.
is that once you hire more people, let's say you hire regional, in India, if you have regional offices or if teams are sitting in different locations, then to understand the pulse of the business, you will also need a CRM, because uh, like everyone will say that I'm working hard, I will try to achieve my target. But once you reach to a level where you have to build some certainty that how much number I'm going to achieve in this quarter, is my yearly number on track, the CRM is actually a disciplined team that is working on the CRM will actually help you bring that clarity in your business.
Understood, sir. Thank you.
Guys, anybody has any other question? Anybody? Okay, I feel no questions. Thank you so much, Prateek. I think we had a very engaging and a very insightful session, and really appreciate the time that you spent today with us, and that's on a Saturday afternoon, considering that everybody has some engagements. And thanks to all our learners, all of the entire lot of audience who did take out time on Saturday. So signing off at this point of time, and let's connect next Saturday, 7 o'clock, with another newer topic related to sales. Thank you, everybody, and have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prateek, sir. Thank you,
Thank
Himanshu,
you.
sir, for the
Thank
session.
you.
Thanks. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.